Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Confidence Mindset with Amanda, and today I am going to be talking about why it's more important to be identifying as the person who has your desire rather than all of the affirmations you are cramming into your mind every single day. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because the affirmations that we are using are basically just new thoughts to rewire our subconscious mind into the new way of thinking, because we manifest from our thoughts. Everything is coming from our thoughts. But however, we are rewiring the old story, the old negative limiting story, into a new positive limitless story. And we're doing this through the reinforcement of positive affirmations, because it can be no other way to change the neurons in our brain. We have to be telling ourselves a new story every single day. It has to become a habit to be rewiring the brain with positive affirmations, because that is the way that we will experience a new reality. Because as we continue to tell ourselves this story, it's seeping into our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is then, as I say before, looking out into a reality from the filter of all these affirmations, and you will find that your perception is changing, so your observation is changing, and then this is how your 3D is reflecting back to you exactly what it is that you have been affirming over a period of time. Now, this is why there is always movement. So it's scientifically proven that there is always movement with your affirmations. So never worry about no movement, because the movement starts from within anyway. So it's scientifically proven that as you rewire your brain with these new affirmations, that the neurons are changing, and so that's where the movement is all coming from. So there's always movement. So this whole thing of I'm not seeing movement and all that is just it's a myth. That's not real. There's always movement, because it all comes from within you. Everything is coming from within you. Especially when we get into manifesting, we understand this a lot more. But this is where the movement all starts. So as soon as you start to say your affirmations, you're starting the movement. And because you're not seeing it in your 3D reality, that's not real. Your 3D reality is never real to what it is that you are affirming for, because there's a bit of a time lag. So it can take a little bit of time to catch up to what it is that you are affirming for. But there is always movement, because it starts from within. So it's scientifically proven that there's always movement. So keep that in mind as you are affirming. And our 3D reality, when it's not reflecting back to us what it is that we are affirming, this is why we can delay our manifestations a little bit, because we're looking to the 3D for validation. As we look to the 3D for validation, now it can be unconscious to us, but in these moments we are telling the subconscious mind that we don't have what it is that we want. And so we're feeling stuck in a sense, because we're going round in circles when we are looking to the 3D for validation, when we're affirming and thinking that we're in the end state, which is the state of knowing and believing and trusting and all that kind of Sabbath state, as Neville Goddard explained. But when we are looking out to the 3D and not getting the validation, and we're saying to ourselves, well, I feel like I'm in the Sabbath state, but it's not here. Why isn't it here? Like you're questioning it in that moment. And so as you are doing that, unknown to yourself, that little bit of questioning is putting a potent amount of awareness on it, and that potent amount of awareness is hitting into the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind then starts reflecting back to you your doubts and all this kind of thing. And look at it, we're all human, we all go through this, but this is why you can change it. This is why you can get out of it. And this is why I want to talk about identifying with your identity, with your desires, more so than the affirmations. Because as you identify with the affirmations, or sorry, as you identify with the desire as having the desire, more so, through your body, through your actions, well, not so much actions, just through the body, really, of how you are treating yourself every single day. As you are doing this, that is kind of hitting the subconscious mind quicker, because remember, it's the way that we are behaving and operating in our society. I made a video before on the Karate Kid, where Mr. Miyagi was teaching Daniel the moves of the karate. Now, if you watch the Karate Kid before, he is doing the repetition, and the repetition is our affirmation. So all those affirmations are going into our subconscious mind. And as they're going into our subconscious mind, they're changing the story. But however, he didn't tell Daniel that it's up and down, up and down. Like Daniel wasn't going to himself up and down in affirmations. He was doing that in his mind, yes, but also he was doing the karate moves. Now, the karate moves that he was doing were obviously painting the fence and waxing the floor and all of those things that he was doing. So he was unaware that he was actually being trained by Mr. Miyagi in such a way. But if you look to how Mr. Miyagi taught Daniel, he taught Daniel to identify with the movements. He didn't actually tell Daniel that he didn't say that teach him with the affirmations or instructions. He taught his mind and body to identify with being with understanding karate. And in his mind, excuse me, in his mind, we could look at him painting the fence, but all day he would have been just in his mind, robotically in his mind, going up and down, which would be our affirmations that are going into our subconscious mind. But we also want to be identifying our body with it as well too, because this is how well, from my perspective anyway, and how I have seen manifest in my reality, I have manifested things quicker by getting my body into the whole experience, really. I have manifested things quicker than when I started to affirm for it. So I want to talk, this is why I was talking about Dr. Joe Dispenza. And this is what Dr. Joe Dispenza is preaching in his work. So he is saying that when we get into the brain and the heart coherence, so your brain and heart coherence then is connecting your mind and your body. And he's telling everyone that if you're teaching your body emotionally what it would be like to experience the future desire, which is our manifestation, to experience what it would be like in that present moment, to have what it is that you want. And how I do this myself is through meditating through my chakras. Now, this does not mean that you have to be meditating to manifest what it is that you want, because we do manifest from our affirmations. But excuse me, I'm talking about when we are wanting to identify with having our desires in our reality. And the way that we do this is by teaching our body to be that person that is identifying with what it is that we want. So when we are manifesting for particular desires, so let's say, for example, you are manifesting money and you're using your affirmations, but you're robotically saying your affirmations in your head. How are you embodying the whole idea of you identifying as this person? Are you waking up in the morning and are you thinking that, oh, I have to pay this and that and whatever? Or are you getting up in the morning and feeling like, yes, everything is possible, everything is going to be okay, I'm going to be able to manifest this money within me? Now, the reason why I want to talk about the chakras is because they are 7 pivotal points within our body that hold all the hormones of stress. And when they are out of balance, we do experience anxieties, we do experience stress, and we do experience some ailments that may come within our body. Also, as well, too, there was a video I put up there the other day. I can't remember what it was called. It was from where it was from Timeless Knowledge anyway, and the guy that was talking in it, he was saying that there is something, we have all these beliefs obviously within our subconscious mind, but we're changing them with our thoughts. But when there's a feeling or something like that lying within our subconscious mind, it has the possibility then of attracting those things into our world because of how our body is. So let's say, for example, when we feel a bit triggered, it hits our whole body. It's not just our mind. And we could be affirming all day to get ourselves out of that state, but sometimes it doesn't get us out of that state. Now, I'm not saying that meditations and all that get you out of that state either, because we are human and sometimes we are going to struggle with emotions, and that's okay. We can have these emotions and we can pick ourselves up then the next day and keep on going with our process. But however, when we have chakras as well too that are out of balance, this is how stressing that can come up in our reality. And I started meditating on my chakras, but I also looked into the meaning behind each chakra. So now that I have studied the each chakra, I'm able to ask myself on certain days, what am I feeling today? And then I am able to kind of meditate on the one chakra that I know is making me feel anxious. And this comes from um this comes from whatever it is that I could be manifesting. So let's say, for example, you're manifesting a new relationship, let's say, or even a specific person, and you wake up or whatever, and you're affirming, you're doing all your affirmations, and you know you're doing good, but then you have maybe a day or so or whatever where you're not doing so good or whatever. In these moments, I actually recommend, even in my coaching, I say this as well too, not to affirm for what it is that you want in this moment, to do things for yourself. And I would be meditating on the heart chakras, because the heart chakra actually holds all our grief, and our grief is the grievances that we would have went through, traumas and things like that that we would have experienced in our life. And usually when we go through grievances, it's to do with how we've experienced relationships in our past, and experience loss in our past. But when you are meditating for yourself on your chakras, and that, you are coming back into alignment with what it is that you want. And yes, I know that we manifest things from affirming, but I'm talking about maintaining and sustaining, because if you are able to identify with what it is that you want, you become this person who is so whole and complete within yourself, you're balanced within yourself, and you don't need what it is that you want outside of you. It becomes this experience that you desire to have, but you don't need it. And because it becomes this experience that you desire to have rather than needing it, you're attracting it through your affirmations. Then, if you actually decide that you still want this desire, you attract it then through your affirmations, and you don't even need to be saying your affirmations all day every day, because you give all this love and attention to yourself, and it's basically just an experience that you know is going to happen. Remember, in the last video I talked about the fifth dimension, you get into that kind of higher knowing. And this is why it doesn't matter how you say your affirmations, as long as you are saying them in a way that is assuming that you have what you want, because that's what it is. It's the law of assumption. It's not the law of affirmation. It's the law of assumption. And we are assuming things all day every day in our life through our thoughts. The sentences that we use are assumptions on what it is that we are experiencing. If you are feeling negative about the law of assumption, and you're saying, oh, the law of assumption doesn't work or whatever, that's an assumption in itself. And of course it's going to reflect back to you then that it doesn't work, because that is an assumption. Everything is how we assume it is going to be, and is how we assume that it is. And so it's not about the affirmations. The affirmations are there to rewire the whole programming that we have experienced through our life. But it doesn't mean that we have to be sitting there all day every day affirming for what it is that we want. The best thing from my perspective is to identify as the person who already has it, even if you have to just act it. But I mean, I'm not saying that you take action in the 3D, because you don't really need to do this. But when you get into this whole embodiment of identifying with the desire that you have, you're able to look at the 3D in a totally different way. Because if you look in the 3D and you see that you don't have what it is that you want, and say you get into these practices of meditation or even breath work, all these type of things, but you get into these practices, you start to say to yourself, okay, well, what am I feeling in this moment? It's more about your awareness. Like, where is your awareness going? And so if you are feeling lack, or if you're feeling insecure, or things like that you are feeling in the moment, well, then you say to yourself, okay, what am I feeling in this moment? And then in this moment, you can either do breath work, you can affirm for yourself, and then you can affirm for what it is that you want. And you can also then meditate on the particular chakra that is actually in relation to this desire. So your root chakra is the one that is in relation to anxiety and stress and security and financial security and anything to do with feeling a lack. And so for those minutes, you can actually give that feeling to yourself through meditating on your root chakra. Now, it's the same for each chakra. If you are feeling that you are not able to voice your opinions, or you're feeling that you're not able to set boundaries or things like that, meditating on your throat chakra gives you that kind of balance as well too, to bring you back into your center. Because remember, we're living, yes, through the brain as well too, but we have to remember about our bodies. If our subconscious mind is taking in these affirmations every single day, it's going to be one, it's going to look for the body as well too. The body has to be taught to experience what it is that we want as well too. And Dr. Joe Dispenza does this through meditations, and he is saying that as you are teaching your body this feeling in that moment, so your body comes out of that meditation, and it's like, I'm not saying that you have to be feeling what it is that you want to manifest. I'm not even saying that you have to be feeling like that for the rest of the day, but the more you do that, the more you teach your body these little things. It's the same with the breath work and stabilizing your nervous system. It's the same with redirecting yourself to, instead of sitting there and dwelling on the past, maybe take yourself out for a walk, or doing things for your body that just says, you know what, I'm going to just look after myself right now in this moment, and I'm going to go and do what it is that will make me feel better in this moment. And this is kind of what's teaching the subconscious mind more, because remember, we are telling our subconscious mind these affirmations, but however, our subconscious mind does pick up on emotion a lot quicker than logic. And I did post a video earlier on total manifesting with Nikki from that channel, and she is explaining how to create affirmations. And if you notice in that video, the reason why I shared it, she is using sentences. So she's using sentences. She's saying that speak to yourself as if you would be speaking to somebody. And the reason why this is effective is because the emotion of it hits the subconscious mind quicker than just affirming, I am loved, I am loved, I am loved, I am loved. It's, I'm not saying that you have to feel it real. It's not that we have to do that. But there is a certain level of having to teach your body the emotion of what it is like to have what it is that you want. Because let's say, for example, you have what it is that you want, your body's going to be reacting to your 3D in a different way. So if you manifest your relationship tomorrow, how is your body going to be feeling? You're going to be feeling excited, you're going to be feeling happy, and all of these things. So this is kind of what you're saying then in your affirmations. I am just feeling so happy that I am finally in this loving, healthy relationship with the person of my dreams. And it's a sentence, it's telling your subconscious mind this story. And I know that we can sit there all day and affirm, but we want to be teaching our bodies in this way as well too, because as we teach our bodies, this is how we maintain and sustain it. Because remember, our body does have a way of behaving unconsciously to us in certain moments. So let's say, for example, you are feeling insecure or things like that in your relationship or whatever. Say you have a meeting with somebody and you're feeling insecure and you're not feeling really good within your body and things like that. It's going to show up in your behavior. It's going to show up with how you move. And you want to have your body trained in such a way. I'm not saying you have to train it, but with the breath work and all these meditations and things that you are doing to look after yourself, even when you are starting to feel, no, like if you do this over a period of time, even when you actually are, say, having an experience within where you're actually feeling not so good, or you're feeling a bit, not great or whatever, because your body has been trained in such a way, it's still going to be unconsciously showing up okay, because you have been telling it over a period of time that you're okay when you're stressed. So let's say, for example, you get anxiety and stress or whatever, and you switch over to doing breath work, and you do this for about 2 weeks. And say you have an experience then where you are meeting somebody and you're actually a bit nervous about it or whatever, because your body has been taught over those 2 weeks that every time that you have been nervous or whatever, you did breath work, you took action in soothing yourself, it understands then that, well, you know what, they're okay under pressure, so it'll be able to perform in a more calm way, even if in your mind in that moment you're not actually thinking so calm. But because your body is not reacting, this, in the anxious thoughts, the intrusive thoughts goes away. And then it starts to, then all the affirmations that you were telling your subconscious mind is coming to the fore, and this is how everything is rechanging in your reality. I hope this video makes sense. Please comment down below and let me know what you think about this whole idea of identifying your body with your desires as being very important to maintaining and sustaining what it is in your life. I'll leave this video here because it's actually longer than I thought, but I just wanted to put out that idea that it's very, like, it is important to identify our bodies as the person who has what it is that we want, and our affirmations are there really just to remind us that we have what it is that we want, which means that we don't have to be stressing ourselves 24/7 because I didn't say the right affirmation this time, or because I didn't say 100 affirmations today, or anything. We don't have to be stressing ourselves like that, because that's not the way that it works. It's simply teaching your mind and your body that you are this person who has what it is that you want. And over a period of time, this is how it all manifests back into your reality, because you're observing things differently, you're feeling things differently, because you have been training your body in such a way as well too. So I'll leave that video there. Please comment down below as well too, if you like, because I am giving away coaching to 2 winners at the end of November, 28th of November, but I'm only able to give it away to people who are commenting under my channel, because that, or under my videos, because that is where I will be picking the winners from. So thank you so much for listening, and I will chat to you soon.